In this episode of Comic Book Savant, I will cover my first impressions of DC Universe online streaming service after this brief message. Welcome back to the Comic Book Savant YouTube channel. I'm your host, James Harris. This episode, I'm going to give my brief first impressions of the DC Universe online streaming service. It's been advertised heavy for the past 6 months or so. They had a big unveiling of the service during San Diego Comic-Con back in July, where fans could get hands-on with the service. They had a private kind of beta that they let the media have access to it. Kind of since then, it launched fully this past weekend on Batman Day, which was September 15th. What they're doing now, since the service is fully launched, you have a 7-day free trial, and you could try it for a week, and then depending on if you enjoy the service or not, you can cancel with no risk to you before going into your monthly subscription. And here's my thoughts on it. First and foremost, the design of the app on the website and even in the tablet is pretty good. Now, you can also download the app if you have like Roku, PlayStation. Well, I don't know if it's on consoles yet, but on Roku, Apple TV, those kind of streaming boxes, they have an app. It doesn't seem as robust when it comes to Apple TV. I'm a big Apple TV user, so it's kind of lacking. It doesn't have the same look, feel, and appeal than the tablet app and the website actually has. They're a little bit more dynamic, so it's lacking kind of there for me wanting to browse it on my TV, and the content is just light. They've boasted all this original content that they're going to have coming out down the road. But what they actually have now, if you're signing up right this moment, is definitely kind of light. It's limited to just maybe 20 or so odd movies, with some of their more recent animated films like Batman Ninja and The Death of Superman, which is their most recent release, which is kind of cool that it's already available on this streaming service. I don't know going forward if they're going to be having, soon as their new animated films are released, they're going to be then on DC Universe, because that might be a feather in its cap. But as of right now, it's roughly, maybe 10 to 12 animated films, and so it's about 24 to 25 movies if you look at live action films and then animated films going on. But then it's weird things, and weird is what I think of a lot when I start thinking about this service. They have the Nolan, the Batman Begins, and they have the Dark Knight, but they don't have the Dark Knight Rises. Doesn't really make sense. When it comes, and this is a big thing if you're a comic book fan like myself, which I'm already subscribed to Comixology Unlimited, which I pay $5.99 with tax. I pay about $6.50 a month for, which I get independent and Marvel, but DC is not a part of it. The one big thing that they're offering with the streaming service is that you have comic books available to you as well. But here's the whole stickler. They never would commit to how they were going to really be handling it. They were like, oh, it's going to be 2,000 to 3,000, comics available, and it's going to be rotated, and it's going to be curated is the word they use. Well, what curated really means is that they get to pick and choose what you have access to, and it's not much. They have, because the big focus of launching the service, it launched on Batman Day, is tons of Batman stories that you can have access to from the very Batman issue 1, but it's sporadic, that they have particular issues that they want you to read, particular story arcs that you have access to. But like if you want to read more of the recent Batman stuff, they have maybe one issue of like a Batman Rebirth or the Court of Owls. They might have the first 3 issues of an arc, but not the rest of it. So it's real kind of scatterbrained, and is kind of convoluted, flowing through and trying to find exactly what you want to find quickly in the app. Again, it's a pretty app, but the organization, when it comes to the comic side of it, just to me leaves a lot to be desired. And, if that's the main reason why you're joining the service, to have access to DC Comics, is To me, I'll say right now, now all this can change because this is just initial launch. We know, and as soon as October, the Titan series drops, and then more of the original content will drop. But you have a whole, month before then. So are you going to get a lot of use out of it? I say where the service shines is with the few movies, if you don't already own the live action movies and the animated movies, that you having access to those are kind of cool. And the animated series that you have access to is really great. You have the Justice League, you have Batman the animated series, you have the original Teen Titans series, not the Teen Titans Go thing for the kiddies, the original Teen Titans series that was so good. You have the Young Justice series. So that, to me, is where the value of this service comes from, is in those animated series, because if you don't own those already personally, you having access for just $7 or $8 a month is great. If you're just a straight up comics fan and you want to read comics, I feel like that portion needs to be fleshed out a lot better, and they need to not curate anything, but just give you a base library, because when you look at Comixology Unlimited, they have about 30,000 comics available for you to pick and choose from. When you look at Marvel Unlimited, they have about 35,000 comics. So 2,000 to 3,000 curated comics is not much. And if you're a real comics fan, you want value for your buck. And if that's the one pull that's pulling you into the service, it lacks in that area. So you're going to eventually cancel if you don't have a bigger library to choose from. And even if it's delayed, like with Comixology Unlimited and as well as Marvel Unlimited, it's maybe a 6-month gap. But most of the stuff I saw, like if it's something recent, it was like DC Rebirth issues, but it was like Green Arrow Rebirth 1, and then Green Arrow Rebirth issue 1. So, they did like the 0 issues priming the Rebirth series. So they have that and then the first issue, but then it's nothing else of the Rebirth. So you can't really read any of the very newer stuff, and that's already a year plus old now, if not older. So, they focus on iconic arcs and things like that. The framework is there for this service to be a real game changer down the road, but there's some tweaks that need to be made. Especially, I feel like I don't understand why, like, Wonder Woman is not available on the service. Man of Steel, you don't have those. You have the older movies, which is cool with the older movies that they have been remastered for HD. They have remastered things like Batman the animated series that was really in need of it, and it looks fabulous on there. In Justice League, all those things were redone for HD rollout, which is fantastic. What I can say for right now, if you're curious about the service on your own and you want to check it out, sign up for the week free trial. I can't recommend signing up for the service long term at this point. We'll know, and I will check back and do another review in another month. Once Titans drop, I will sign back up for the service, and we'll do a review of the service, seeing after a month or so in, getting feedback and from videos like this. And if you think this video is useful and you want to tweet it out to DC, feel free to do so. That's just some of my feedback. I feel like if they want a all-encompassing service, they had to do better with the comic side and the movie side. I think they nailed it with the animation, with the offerings that they have. It's the most robust, and that's where a lot of their jewels. And they don't have even all the different animated series they've had over the year, but I feel like that section of the different offerings that they have, TV and TV, comics, movies, and films, the animated side is the strongest component of the three-pronged or the three-headed dragon that they're trying to present to us to lure us into the service. Once they flesh those out a little bit more, maybe 6 months, even a year from now, I think the service will be a great value at $7.99. But as of right now, I kind of wish maybe it was, instead of it being $7.99 a month, that it was more like $5.99 a month, and I could be more on the side of recommending it. But as it stands now, I can't recommend signing up long term. Do the free trial, see what you like about it. And then if it does work for you, then by all means, then probably you want to go ahead and do the deal where you do the $74.99, because you save a little by, doing that, the annual over your monthly. I don't know if they're still doing the thing where you get the extra 3 months. I think that was just a pre-order bonus. So now if you do the $74.99, it's for your annual subscription, which isn't bad if more is there. But as of right now, I don't feel like enough is there to warrant that cost. Again, my name is James Harris. This is the Comic Book Savant channel. Don't forget, if you haven't already, and I don't know why you wouldn't, seeing my pretty face talking about a great thing as comics, come subscribe to the channel. So if you haven't done that already, please do so now. Take a moment to do so. Also, if you've already subscribed, click the bell notification down below. That'll let you know, and it will alert you as soon as new content drops on the channel. I try to at least drop 2 videos a week, certain times because life, I only can get 1 video up a week. But my main focus is try to get 2 every week up for you guys. But if you click the bell notification down below, soon as new content drops, you'll be alerted of it. And also, again, let me know if this review has been helpful down in the comment section below. Let me know if you've signed up for it yet. Have you tried it? And what are your thoughts? I'd love to hear down below. What are your thoughts or opinions so far on this DC Universe service, from how they hyped it to what we actually got? Did it meet the hype for you or no? Let me know down below. That's all I have for you guys for this episode of Comic Book Savant. Again, I'm your host, James Harris. I will see you guys next time for another episode. You guys take care and enjoy. See you soon.